food. Or I shouldn't even, sorry. This is not how I wanted to start the call, or the live stream. So I just scarfed down a ton of food. I say a ton of food. It was a Caesar wrap that I get from a place down the street. They make food. You just go and pick it up. And I think I ate it in like 2.5 minutes so that I could be here with you all. So welcome to the live stream. So apologies if I've got some food in my teeth or something like that. I hopefully got most of it out. I've learned over the time that the camera picks up a lot of things you don't always want it to. So you got to be really careful with that. All right, let's see. Who all do we have in here? Hey, Mimi, welcome. Change screen there. Always good to see you. And I'm getting my computer set up over here, so hopefully everyone can see. Looks like a few more have come through. Hey, Angela, welcome. We got Scott. Scott, what were your thoughts on the MSC Seashore? You loved it. What was it that you liked about it? I'm always curious on other people's opinions. This is one that I've always had the contrarian opinion, if you will, to MSC on how great of a value it is and how good of a cruise line it is, at least for the ones that I've been on. So I'm always curious when other people say they really liked it to see what they mean by that. Rolls Ferrari, welcome back. Always good to see you. Annie Shenanigans, I like your screen name there. Hello from Cape Coral, right up the street. If you had Reverend Dr. E, I've had him. He was on the Magnifica when I kind of took up residency there. He is hilarious. So, for those of you that have been cruising for a while, I'm going to say this term, and you're probably going to know what I mean by it. But he is a classic cruise director. What I mean by that is he can sing, he can dance, he can talk, he gets up on stage, he puts on his own little comedian show. He is a jack of all trades, keeping you entertained. And he is probably one of the better cruise directors that I have ever encountered. I mean, he is fantastic, regardless of what you like in a cruise director. He's going to have at least some of that. So he's definitely fantastic, Scott. Slotomaniac, welcome. Hey, Jen, always a pleasure to see you. See any deals this winter? I can't say that I have recently because I'm shopping in 2026 already. So, I don't pay attention as much to those cruises that are upcoming because I've had those booked for a while now. The deployment calendar is coming out for short cruises in, I think, just a few weeks for Celebrity, and Royal Caribbean's going to be pushing theirs in January. But I normally book mine pretty soon after it's released. And so right now I'm booked all the way through April 2026. So I've not paid a lot of attention to that. That's where a travel agent really comes in handy. And I have refused to do that. Travel agents work way too hard. They are invaluable, but they do a lot of work. And so I haven't done that. So no, I've not heard of anything, but I will say that if you're looking at early, traditionally the beginning of December is always a really good time to catch a good deal. Versus trying to go during a holiday of some kind. By the time you get in January and February, you get more snowbirds, we'll call them, coming down. And so they pick up a little bit more. But in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's normally a good place. Hey, Dewey. You enjoyed the C class as well on MSC. Great to hear it. And Dewey, I'm going to be seeing you tomorrow. We're all going to be heading over to Oasis of the Seas with Royal Caribbean. It is doing a random 3-night sailing. I think it just came back from Europe, and so it's now coming over here to get on its 7-day run. It's got to do a random 3-day run in between, and then it'll be on its normal schedule. And so those are ones that I really enjoy because it's ships that I don't normally get to go on. I've been on Oasis before, but when they start doing 7 days, I don't get to go on them. And so this is a really cool way that I can do a quick, we'll call it a weekend. It's a Thursday to a Sunday cruise, but it should be a lot of fun. I know a ton of people are going to be there because a lot of you all who watch this show do the weekends, you go, oh, that's the ship we can't normally get on. And so we all go running towards the ship. So it was a little bit more expensive because of that, but I am excited to be going on it. By the way, I'm going to talk a little bit about I get a lot of comments these days when I'm on cruise ships, and I'm always, wanting to talk to you all and meet you all on ships. But people are coming up to me. I've been on a lot of Royal ships the last 3 or 4 weeks. I've been doing a good amount of Royal, and people are like, "Oh, I'm surprised to see you here, Brandon. Like, I thought you had sworn off Royal." And that is absolutely not what I've done. Might make a dedicated video on this. I'm just a free agent at this point. You're going to see me a little bit of everywhere. So you never know where I'm going to show up. But I still do like going on Royal Caribbean. I'm just trying to balance Royal Caribbean pricing with the value that I'm getting. And so that's where celebrities coming is in addition to MSC. Not doing a ton of Virgin these days, simply because they don't have the short cruises. They have 4 nights, but not the weekends that I've come to really love. So you're going to see me everywhere. So when you see me on Royal Caribbean, don't be surprised. When you see me on MSC, I think a lot of people expect that these days. But I've got a lot of Royal Caribbean coming up and a lot of celebrity. More next year is going to be a ton of celebrity for me because they've got the silhouette going out of Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. So excited to jump over to that. Hey there, David. Welcome back. Oh, you're nervous about the small ship. It is a different kind of sailing. So if you're doing Vision of the Seas, it is one of the older ships in the fleet, but she's gorgeous. I mean, she's number one, going to be able to go into better ports because of her size. Those small ships can go to some really cool places that the big ships just can't get into. You're going to see everybody that's on there. It feels like a community. You're part of something bigger when you're on the smaller ships. When you get up to the big ones, kind of just a number at that point. And to me, that loses a little bit of it. But they're really good. The decor is different. It's more classic. It's more wood. But I really, really appreciate it. And Sarah, I will be seeing you and Tom tomorrow as well on Oasis of the Seas. We got a whole little crowd or group that are going. Should be a really, really good time. And Scott's talking about one of the recent sponsored videos that I did with Gig Sky, which is a great alternative to cruise ship Wi-Fi. I hope the video made sense on how I do it. I wanted to talk more about Gig Sky in that video versus why I enjoy it so much. But like MSC, for instance, I don't get complimentary Wi-Fi on MSC. So with that, I say don't buy the Wi-Fi on MSC if you're doing a weekend cruise because you're going to have it when you're in port. The problem is when you leave port, my cell phone no longer gets reception from the land ports. And so that's where Gig Sky allows me to buy a set amount of data. And I don't have to use it that much. It's only for a few hours that I really am on it with Gig Sky, but it allows me to receive phone calls and be able to stay in touch with people in the middle of the night. If something goes bump back home or I'm needed for whatever reason, it'll still, for a very low cost, because I'm not using data, I'm just connecting at that point, allows me to stay connected. So I have really enjoyed using pairing Google Fi, my cellular provider, with Gig Sky, which is my cruise ship cellular provider, if you will. So one of the things that I love about Google Fi is they do not have a relationship with cellular at sea. So when you leave the port and you're on a cruise ship, you're going to see, if you don't go into airplane mode, your phone may switch into roaming on cellular at sea, and it is very expensive. I accidentally had probably 2 different months worth of $500 to $600 bills from where I was making phone calls on the ship and not realizing that they weren't going over Wi-Fi. And T-Mobile raked me for those. And so I finally just said, okay, enough is enough with T-Mobile. And I enjoy Google Fi because they don't have that relationship with cellular at sea. So I can't make that mistake again. And all my internationals included. Gig Sky, on the other hand, if I bought data from them, they do have an amazing relationship with cellular at sea. And I don't know any other companies that have that kind of partnership with cellular at sea. So I'm super excited to do that. And, super excited to have 2 sponsored videos. Those are my first 2 that I've ever done. In 355 videos, I have finally arrived to where I've got some sponsored videos. So a huge kudos and thank you to you all. Number one, for supporting the channel, watching it, commenting, engaging with it, pressing that like up button if you haven't already done it for this live stream, or thumbs up button. But it is really affording me some neat options. I'm not sure if I'm going to get a lot of those. It was so coincidental how they came at the same time. I literally have been working with Red Coach Bus Company for probably a year trying to close that deal because I really liked their experience. I was on their bus. Like I sent them and was tagging myself to their social media account on their bus. And I'm like, guys, this is a really cool experience. Like we should talk about it together. And so it finally came to fruition at the exact same time. Gig Sky actually reached out to me. And I mean, when you have a social media channel, you all probably don't know this, but you get hit up probably 3 or 4 different times every day on partner with this product, showcase this thing, do that. And Gig Sky is the very first one where somebody approached me. I said, oh, wow, that's a really cool concept. Like we can absolutely do something with that. And I think the video actually turned out well. It was longer than I wanted it to be, but I thought it was solid content. And so I've always said, if the content's there, if I feel good about it, I'm fine with it being a little bit longer. In this case, I did feel that. So again, thank you all for supporting those videos, supporting me. And hopefully the video or the advertisement I did was not straying far away from my normal content. Like they're truly a great fit for people who are going on cruises. They're informative, they're educational, which is the content that I enjoy making. And, even though I was sponsored, I mean, it's not like I'm biased. I'm sharing with you the same kind of content that I would on a cruise review, or here's what you need to know about going on Oasis of the Seas, which I'll probably be making this weekend. So I really enjoyed the fact that it felt like it really fit within the channel. So that's my commitment to you all is if I do get more advertisements, and hopefully that I do now that I've got some to show to some other folks, I assure you it will be a good fit for this channel. I'm not just going to post an advertisement or a sponsored video just because. I will make sure that it is absolutely a good fit and something that I'm proud of, something that I think you're going to enjoy and maybe even get something out of. I would never talk about something. There was one product that was sent to me that it was a travel router, actually. I won't name the name brand of it, but they sent it to me and they wanted me to make a video of it. And they were a little pushy about it. And I was like, guys, I got to check this out on the ship. Like, I'm not making a video about something that I've not used on a cruise ship. And after 2 cruises, I was like, I can't make a video about this. Like I plug it in and my Wi-Fi goes to like 10% of what it was on the cruise. Somehow or another, the cruise ship knew that I plugged in a travel router and it killed my speed. It could still function and it did get it to other devices, but it wasn't a good experience. And so I chose not to talk about that. Even though they were ready to move forward and send me the device, we were making good progress, but I couldn't in good faith make a positive video about that. And I'm not gonna take somebody's, I won't say gift, but their router that they had provided me and make a video on how bad it was or how it didn't work out the way I thought it would. Hey, if you find one, you're doing good there, Annie's. And that's the way that you find them, honestly, especially if you're doing, I'll say more last minute at this point, because the winter, we're kind of here. We're almost, when does fall ends? Keep me honest in the comments. When does fall end and winter starts? We're almost there. So things open up all the time. Things happen. People cancel, and they will come online. So it can happen. Ooh, we are keeping Emma up late. Welcome, Emma. Chatty Rolland from the UK. I know it's you're 5 hours ahead now. I think that we switched our clocks this past week. Which I was thinking about it. I think that I have spent, outside of COVID, I have spent the last 5 or 6 years, every time we've had a time change, I've been on a cruise ship. I don't know how I've managed that, but every time change, I am always on a cruise ship, whether we're gaining an hour, losing an hour. I seem to always be hanging out on the cruise ship, mainly because they happen on Saturday nights, right? So that's just how it is. Oh, you're jumping on the Quantum, Robert. Hopefully they make some good ones. I'm actually going to be there in November. We've got a group cruise going on the Quantum of the Seas out of Los Angeles. It's going to be it's a weekend sailing. And I think it's one of maybe 2 that it's doing out of Los Angeles. So if anybody wants to join us on Quantum of the Seas, it's supposed to be a fantastic ship. And go down into the comments down below. You've got the link to register for the group cruise newsletter, which I need to send another one out. I've been kind of busy doing other things, but I need to keep y'all posted on where the prices are, how it's going. But we've already got a pretty solid group over there. I did tailor that one to solo cruisers. So if you're coming on the Quantum with us, it's got the Quantum class ships, shockingly, have the most amount of solo cabins. And so hopefully we can get even more solo people on here, but that will be November 17th. The other non-group group cruise that I'm calling it is we're just getting a group together. There's a whole section of us that are just going to be showing up to the MSC World America, a brand new ship that is coming out on May. It's coming out actually at the end of April. We're going to jump on it on May 3rd. So I'm super excited about that. It is essentially a Oasis class ship. It's the same framework, same builder, but with all MSC touches to it. And so I'm really curious what that's going to look and feel like and how they do big ships. I love their C-Class and the design of it, the way that it looks. I'm a huge fan of those. Magnifica, Divina, not as much, but the C-Class, that's a solid ship. So I'm really hopeful that they do a good job with this one too. Sarah, we will have to arrange a little reunion. So we've got a couple of legacy group cruisers coming on, including Dewey and Sarah and Tom. So we'll have to find a meetup for everybody. Happy hour? That seems to be our go-to. Hey, Willie. Good to see you on a live stream. It was a pleasure meeting you as well. So funny story here. I am constantly amazed kind of at the recognition you get or that I get when I go on cruises these days. And I don't know why I'm surprised by it, but maybe it's humbled. I don't know. I'm turning red just talking about it. But earlier in the day, some people from the Reflection had taken a picture of me. I had stepped out on the balcony in the morning. I was, of course, playing on my phone. Took a picture and sent it to me in Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it's different content than what you're going to find on YouTube, more pictures of what I'm doing. And so I'd gone out on the balcony for sail away to look for these people because I figured we were on the same side and I can wave to them. And as I'm standing there, Willie is in the cabin next door to me. We're both, admiring sail away, and was like, "Hey, I think you have a YouTube channel, right?" And I was like, "Oh, I sure do." That is as close to home I'll call it. I'm used to in the common spaces, but I don't think I've ever had anybody recognize me on the balcony. This was twice in one cruise that it happened. So can't get away with anything. I got to watch myself. You guys are paying attention to what I'm doing. So I got to be a good cruiser when I go out there. Not that I'm not. Hey, Cindy, welcome back. You're on the Oasis now. Oh, you brought her back for us. Thank you. Hopefully you got her in tip-top shape and got everybody ready and set for all of us to be coming on there. We are just going to be missing you, but I would have loved to have done the crossing from Barcelona. But as you know, that's a little longer than 3 nights. So I couldn't make that happen. But I saw some pictures from the Oasis crossing. You had some wonderful people on board. I think that's one reason I am more interested in doing longer sailings, such as the Transatlantic's number 1. They're a fantastic cost. But number 2, there's a lot of my friends that go there. Other Pinnacle members, other frequent cruisers go on those crossings and transatlantic sailings a lot. And it would be it's like a little mini reunion or homecoming, if you will. So I would actually really like to do those one day. Hey, Marie from Indiana. Got some West Coasters on here. Andrew, you're on as well on Oasis. Exciting. The more I do these, the more the more I do these, the more I see who's going to be on different ships. So excited, looking forward to seeing you again too. Hey, Katie, welcome. Will I be doing any of the weekends on Jewel? I will be. Let me look at my schedule over here. I say that I booked one. I did. So the first one I have booked. So the Jewel is going to start doing weekend sailings. I'm looking at my spreadsheet because I even mark if a ship is going to start doing weekends and when it stops, I kind of mark it on my sheet. Jewel is going to start doing weekends on May 2nd, which is when we are on World America with MSC. So I'm going to do 2 weekends there, and then I'll do the Jewel of the Seas on the 16th. I've also got her booked. That's May 16th, I should say. And I've also got her booked in October, on October 3rd. And maybe I'll do her again on October 10th. I enjoy the Jewel of the Seas. I've sailed on her several times already, so I'm excited to do it. If there's some decent deals on her studio cabins, snag those up. She can't have but so many studio cabins, Willie. So if you want to do that, jump all over it. I highly encourage that. Oha Bear, let's see. You were on Utopia 2 weeks ago and liked leaving from Port Canaveral. Less hectic than Miami. I mean, that's all subjective, right? I mean, for me, it's across the street. So I don't deal with any of the traffic. I can even do it on foot if I want to, but I hear you. There is definitely a growing contingent of people that just go, Brandon, I don't want to drive to Miami. I don't want to get in that traffic to mess with it. They're either taking the bus down, they're taking the Bright Line down, they're doing anything but driving in Miami because it is more hectic. It's also, I'll say, to me, I feel like Miami was set up to be a proper cruise port. The one that frustrates me the most is Port Everglades because I feel like it's truly a cargo cruise, not cargo cruise port, a cargo port that happens to have cruise ships. And so the layout there just confuses me, if nothing else. Miami, I feel like is set up like an airport. But when you talk about Orlando, it's much easier to get in and out of the cruise ship to be able to actually move around. So I totally hear you on that. The prices in Canaveral are consistently much higher than Miami, though. So I don't know if that makes a difference or not. It makes you go, maybe I can do the traffic. Just something to consider. Question about Labadee. None of the excursions interest me. Is the island free friendly? I love how you phrased that, Rolls Ferrari. Or I'm better off finding an excursion that is mildly interest you. I would say that it is free friendly because it is like a untouched Coco Cay. So if you remember, if you've been cruising for a while, remember when Coco Cay used to be just regular old Coco Cay. You have a beach, you have ocean, and you have a chair you're going to sit in. That is Labadee. There are a few excursions you can do there. I don't think that I've ever done one out of Labadee because they don't interest me, and I am quite happy taking a book, sitting on the beach. The beach there is beautiful. The sand is beautiful. So I would say go and call it a relaxing day. I wouldn't try to do anything. The zip line is probably the most popular thing that's there if you're into more adrenaline kind of activities. But I would say it's absolutely free friendly. Bring your own entertainment though. But there's nothing there that you need to do. You're not going to miss out. Willie, you might be giving me a run for my money on how many cruises you have booked there. We very well could be. I don't know what kind of room I have for this one. This was a random cruise that I got a balcony, which I normally don't do by myself anymore. I'm normally always in interiors. So that was a nice little treat on this past one. So, baby, I will see you on the 3rd. Katie, remind me, which one are you going on for that one? Is that the one that I'm also on? I want to say that it is. There's one cruise that we've got that's going to be the same. Hey, Ken. Always a pleasure and good to see you. I'm glad you made it too. It's one that I want to do more lives. Like lives are the fun stuff that I get to do because I literally show up, I turn the camera on, there's no prep work other than, me reading Facebook groups and just staying up to date on cruise knowledge. This is fun. This is where I get to hang out with you all and, make friends, if you will. So I really enjoy coming and doing these. Schedules get in the way. That's been the biggest problem so far. And so actually tonight, I think I was supposed to be busy. There was an event I was supposed to go up to, and I was like, I'm not going to do that. I was like, I want to come and hang out with you guys. And you've probably noticed that I haven't done, I think this is my first live stream in 3 or 4 weeks. But I also haven't had a ton of videos that have been published recently. And that's because I've changed video editors. So I was using one kind of group to make the videos, and I was really looking for, they were more of a group. So every time I'd kind of get assigned somebody different to edit the videos, and I'd have to re-explain my style, what I like doing, and the things that you all like and don't like. So I absolutely hear your feedback on the videos. I think the strongest y'all ever commented on a video was when I've had music going in the background, and you're like, Brandon, we see your lips moving, we hear you, but we can't concentrate. We need just you, like take the music out. And I tried lowering it and it was always too loud. So I was finally like, nope, we're not doing music. And so I'd have to repeat that to like every person I worked with. Now I've transferred to a dedicated person. So I'm hopeful that it'll do a couple of things for me. Number one, make videos better. So he is well skilled. He's actually he's an Aussie living in Thailand right now. Just doing remote work. And so he's going to learn me, my style. He's making some new assets meaning some images. We've got the wave, the Weekend Cruiser wave where I like change chapters or talk about something different. He may be updating that and a few other things. So I'm excited to see what he's got. He's got a hopper full of videos right now that I have sent over. So I'm hopeful that we're going to get several of these up and running for you all. All that being said, I want to hear from you. So when I start posting videos again, I want to hear from you all on, hey, what did you like? What did you not like? To make these videos better, because I make them how I like them. But you may have a different style. And if there's a significant interest in one way of doing a video, I'd love to take that on. And so he's new, we're building this relationship. And so now's the time, I feel like, to give that feedback on how he's doing, how he's looking. And I'll do that from my end. I've actually, over 3 years I've been doing this, I've gotten a little bit more creative. I keep saying I'm not a creative person. Like, I'm really good at coming up with the educational content. I know what I want to talk about, what people need to learn to enjoy a cruise. But when it comes to, okay, how do I turn this into a video and make it look good? That I don't always get. I'm getting better at it. So I always welcome other people's opinions and thoughts. So please do not be shy when I start posting videos again. Hopefully we'll get some more this weekend, maybe next week, that you can look at and say, hey, Brandon, it's working, it's not working, and we can refine it a little bit. Oh, looks like I scrolled down by accident here. Here we go. Aaron, what you got? My pleasure, Aaron. Your other half are out of Orlando, right up the street. I mean, there is a solid contingent of weekend cruisers at Port Canaveral. So there's a lot more people in Orlando that jump on cruise ships than they do in Miami. Miami's got, a few, but it's not as much as Orlando has. Orlando, when I go there, it's constantly the same people, which I enjoy. One of the downsides for me of bouncing around different cruise lines these days is I don't see all the same people I used to see. So a lot of those relationships, I don't see them as frequently or as often. And so when I go up to Orlando or Port Canaveral, I always know I'm going to see people that I can catch up with, have a good time. So Aaron, if you keep doing that, look around and you'll be like, wait a minute, I've seen you here before. You do weekends? And you're going to meet a lot of people. There's a good number of them there. A good way to figure out who they are is to always see who's leaving the cruise ship first thing in the morning. So if they are lined up, ready to go 15 minutes, 20 minutes beforehand, they're probably used to doing the weekends. Though on that note, I will say that for those of you that want to be the first ones off the cruise ship, that used to be me. I don't do it anymore. So I used to go and line up 30 minutes early so that I could be the first one to run off the cruise ship, get to the office. You don't have to do that anymore. So the times are a-changing. What I mean by that is if you are looking to get off the ship, and I even timed it on Utopia getting off, they had a massive line of people that lined up early, wanted to get off the ship so that they could get to work, get to school, wherever they were going. And within 3 minutes, 4 minutes, that line had fully cleared the security on the ship, and they'd all gone to the customs. So security's gotten really good. They'll have like 4 or 5 stations, and they are moving people. The better news, though, and I don't think that's why we used to try to get off early, is the customs line. When we used to have to go and hand our passport to a customs official, they look at it, they ask you questions. It slowed the process down tremendously. Now that most cruise ports have the facial recognition where you just go smile at the camera, it gives you a green light and you walk on. I walked off as soon as probably 300 other people did in 3 to 4 minutes. There was nobody standing in line. There are so many different stations where you can walk up and just smile at the camera and keep going that it just goes. So gone are the days, thankfully, that we had to wake up an hour early before we could get off so we could line up 30 minutes before to be that first one off. These days, if you just show up 5 minutes after the fact, I will say, you will save yourself a lot of worry and it's not going to slow you down any. So that's my pro tip for today. Will, I thought the roller coaster was not the roller coaster. Oh, you're talking about the roller coaster. I think of the zip line. I've never done the roller coaster. There's a name for it. It's like they've got them in the mountains of Vermont. It's the only other place that I've seen it, but it's a car that you can brake and control. That might be something that's pretty neat for $10. Hey, give it a try. That's definitely a check the box exercise at that point. February is when I will be there. That's right, Katie. Getting on those weekends, I love it. Voyager is one of my favorite ships. So one of my first videos, walking tours that I ever did was Voyager of the Seas. And it's still to this day one of my best performing videos because most cruise vloggers aren't out there talking about the old ships. They want to see the nice and shiny ones, which I enjoy, but I also enjoy the old ones too. So I'm glad I was able to do that. Oh no, there wasn't one on Utopia. You're right on that. That's okay, old bear. Yes. So we have done. Have I done a group in Canaveral? I did. I think it was like the second one we did on Allure. We did the second group cruise. I think we've done 4 of them now, with 2 more coming up. So I'm excited. I got to start looking at the 2016 schedule, see if we can get some more on the book. So if you want to vote in the comments on where you want a group cruise to go to with a weekend cruiser, probably a weekend, maybe a 4-day. If it's Thursday to Monday, I might can swing it. Let me know. 58 more days till out of Miami. Oh, you're doing the ABCs. Ken, that is my absolute favorite is Bonaire. I love it. A lot of them these days will do Aruba and Curacao, but I swear the best snorkeling is in Bonaire. In Curacao, it's just beautiful to walk around. So have a really wonderful time on that cruise. I've not done that in a few years at this point, but those are some beautiful places. That water down there, oh, it is so pretty. What's my plan for Coco Cay this weekend? I don't have one at this point, Andrew. I kind of just wing it. I'm going through a phase these days where I don't always get off the ship in Coco Cay because that's when I'll shoot videos. I need to do a walking tour of Oasis while we're there. And so I'll hopefully do that around 11. That's when most people get off, but before people at lunchtime at noon start coming back. So I'll probably try to get off after that. I'm reading a really good book right now that I'm enjoying. It's an easy read. And so I want to make some more headway on that. So I might just take my book and go head over to Chill Island and check it out. But I have not purchased any excursions, no Hideaway Beach, none of that. Which, by the way, somebody was saying, and I didn't verify this, that Hideaway Beach on another sailing was going for over $100. Over $100 for Hideaway Beach. Like, I don't understand it. I was like, maybe there's a charter and they bought it out or bought most of it out. That just seems crazy to me. Most of the time these days it's still 50 to 60, but $100 for that experience, like I don't see it. But that's just me. When you cruise, which cruise do I recommend for couples more on the romantic relax? Celebrity. I would go with Celebrity is who I would do. They are more adult friendly. They do allow kids on Celebrity ships, but there's not that many of them. Their ships are also smaller, and they've got fantastic specialty restaurants that you can have a really good night. So those are the ones I recommend. If you're looking for something very intimate and high end, there's a lot of luxury cruise lines that are out there that will cost you a good chunk of change, but they're an amazing experience. People swear by them. I have yet to go on one. Maybe that'll be my next sponsored video. They'll send me on a luxury cruise. I mean, that's like country comes to town at that point. But I've heard wonderful things about doing luxury cruises, but I would look for a Celebrity cruise ship. If you want to do a short one, you've got the Reflection currently doing weekends, and the Silhouette is going to be starting next year doing weekends. That would be my recommendation there. So let's talk about cruise lines and the sales that they do or do not have. So Thanksgiving's coming up, and for us Americans, that means that Black Friday is right around the corner beside of that. So are the deals on Black Friday going to be actual deals? I will tell you what I think, and I haven't ever gone through and monitored it. I really should just go through and price check and say, okay, here's what the price is on November like 6th, let's say, and here's what it is on Black Friday, and see if it's truly a difference. So when you are looking or pricing a cruise ship, please do me the favor and always look at the final amount. They're going to throw out it's all sorts of different terms. It's 70% off the second guest, 25% all the guests, kids sale free. There's always some kind of a sale that is going on. However, when you go and look at the final price, oftentimes it's always the same. So the numbers change, the sales change. The final amount that you're paying doesn't really change. So you're probably not going to find great cruise deals for Black Friday, my personal opinion. Still look, I don't blame you for doing that, but I don't think you're going to find a good cruise deal because oftentimes, I mean, sometimes I've even seen the sale change and the price goes up. Cruise ships have what's called dynamic pricing, and that's what really makes this interesting because there is no price for a cabin. There's a listed price, but nobody really uses that. The price of the cabin is determined by how many rooms are taken, how many rooms they got left, and how quickly the team believes that they're going to be able to fill those rooms. It's an algorithm that sets the prices every single moment for that cruise ship. And so if somebody books in, it's going to change. If somebody cancels, it's going to change. And it's always changing like that. So to say that it now has a Black Friday sale on it, well, dynamic pricing is still happening. Maybe they changed the algorithm a little bit to make it look like a sale, but normally I don't find it. The place that I have seen better sales is on drink packages, internet, shipboard experiences. That's where you're going to have a little bit more success. So if the sale starts Friday, Michelle, go ahead and check it out today. And then go back on Friday and see if it's truly a sale, and then report back. I'll let you do the dirty work here for us. But that's my personal take on it. I've never gravitated towards Black Friday unless I'm looking for something on board the ship. I have seen some good ones there. Argentina, welcome, Jorge. I am actually taking Spanish lessons now. So one of the things that keeps me going these days is learning Spanish. So hopefully next time I make it down to Argentina, or you guys come up here, we can practice my Spanish some. I'm not good at it by any means. I think I'm like 7 classes in online, but I'm having a good time with it. I live here in Miami, so if I'm ever going to learn it, now's the time. I can literally practice it with 80% of the people that live here with no problems whatsoever. Allure, that was the group cruise. Thank you, Adam. I was trying to remember, and it finally came to me. Hey there, Gary. Or Philip. I think you got 2 names there. We'll call you Philip. I think that's what I'm supposed to go with. Or maybe I'm supposed to call you Gary. Me and my wife on Freedom in April. Oh, one of my favorites. Got Enchantment coming up. Cinco de Mayo. I have been on Enchantment. So the history of weekend cruises, not that you signed up for this, but on Royal Caribbean, who I started with my weekend journey, it used to be Enchantment of the Seas doing the weekends. They had their oldest and their smallest ships doing weekend cruises. So I would fly down from Boston, do a weekend on Enchantment, and then the Empress of the Seas was actually doing a 4-night Thursday to Monday morning. And I'd stay in Miami. I'd then jump on the Empress of the Seas for 4 nights, and then I would fly home after that. But the Enchantment is one of my first, it might be the actual first, because Empress wasn't really doing weekends, my first weekend cruise. So it is a good ship. It is a small ship, but she's been extended. So her history is actually pretty cool. At some point, I don't remember the year, they said, you know what? Enchantment of the Seas is not big enough. And so they put her in dry dock, broke her in half, and then filled in the half with more staterooms, more pool. And with that, they've got the walkout wings that you'll see on Oasis class ships where you can look directly down. They've got a glass section where it's split and you can look down to the water, which is pretty cool. But I do like the smaller ship. She is definitely a smaller ship. Enjoy it. Not a lot of special restaurants. I think they only have chops, but you're going to have a wonderful time. I need a coin or sticker to hand out. You know, it's interesting you mentioned that, Cindy. Like on cruise ships, I'm not a good marketer. If somebody comes and recognizes me and says, "Hey, like you're on the YouTube, like you do YouTube stuff," I'll talk about it. But normally, I don't walk around saying, "Hey, I've got a YouTube channel." I feel super awkward about doing that. I don't know why. It's not that I'm not proud of what I've put out here, but I don't. I think I would view it as me bragging about it, maybe, or something. I don't know, or trying to show off like how much I know about ships, and I'm just not interested in that. But it would be neat, Cindy, and this I think maybe what you meant, for people that do recognize me and that I go, "Oh my God, like it is me. Hi, how are you?" To give them a little memento, if you will. I know JJ Cruz, who a lot of you also watch, used to do that. They gave out the old silicone bracelets. Is what they did. I think I still have one of them, actually. So that is actually a pretty cool thing to do. I'm normally game for just a solid selfie at the end of the day. That always works. But I have to think about that. Like, what would people want to receive? I've got some thoughts on that. I'll come back, Cindy. Or let me know in the comments if you all have something that would be cool, like a memento that you collect. Sure, let's check it out and see. 100% Rolls Ferrari. I mean, I don't think it's worth $20, quite frankly. The only time I think that Hideaway Beach is worth its money is in the winter when it's cold and you want a heated pool. That is the only time I would think. The food, not that differentiated. Yes, it's going to have coconut, popcorn, shrimp, and it's going to have pizza. It's even got a seafood pizza. I can't bring myself to try that, but people say that it's good. The food there is very similar to what you're going to find at a snack shack. And the beach, it's the same exact beach if you walk 100 meters the other way, and it's the same water. So totally up to you. If you want the DJ, this is the place that you got to go to get it. The Oasis Lagoon, and I've been watching it to see how the Oasis Lagoon modifies from this. And my hunch, and I think this is what's winding up happening, a while when they made this, and I said they're moving the party from Oasis Lagoon, they're going to move it over to Hideaway Beach. They move the DJ, they move the party. And so I said, okay, so now you got this other pool over here that's huge, that's designed for kids at this point. So it's got that easy walk through. It's got the squirting things, the bubbling water that you can play with. It's turning into the family pool. The bar doesn't get that busy anymore. And it is a huge bar. The swim up bar there, I actually kind of like a little bit better than the one at Hideaway Beach, but it just doesn't have the same energy that it does. They do play music through a speaker system, but it is not the party music that you're going to find at Hideaway. So I would say if you want to check the box with Hideaway, you can do that, but please don't do it for more than $50. It's just, especially if there's multiple of you, because if you've got a family of 4, like you're going with some more adult children, that's $200 to get in there. It's absolutely not worth that. So apparently the prices are more consistent. I was hoping, we just talked about dynamic pricing, Willie, and Hideaway Beach will hold 2,800 or is it 1,800? It's a lot of people that fit in Hideaway Beach. And I was really hoping that because the capacity number was so high that the dynamic pricing with how many they have left and how many they can sell would have kept the cost down. But it looks like that is not happening. When I was there, I did go to it 2 weeks ago. Some friends invited me to the Hideout Cabana. I have to get my words right. They're too similar, which I've got a video coming on. The place was probably like 30% full. It was a Oasis class ship, and I forget what the other ship was. Adventure of the Seas, actually, is who it was. So I don't know who they think is paying $100, but it's just one more thing that I could strike off the list. And if that's going for $100, Will, I guarantee you that the Coco Cay Beach Club, my personal favorite, is going for $250 to $300 at this point, which that's another cruise. By the time you take 2 people in there, I could be in an interior cabin on another cruise versus having 5 days there. Hablo español. My go-to phrase. Hey, Jose, my pleasure. Let me know what you decide on. Another one I thought about mentioning for like a romantic one is Virgin Voyages. I don't know if that's your style or not. It is it does feel more sophisticated sometimes on there, but it's a modern, contemporary sophistication. And they've got like a anniversary package that you can purchase as well. So just one more thing to consider. It might not be your flavor. Virgin's not for everybody. Yeah, the heated pool, that's about the only selling point that's there. The Oasis Lagoon is definitely not heated. I've gone in there and about froze up a couple of times. And even then, I don't know that I would do it for $100. Like, I'm fine just sitting on the beach, soaking up some sun and getting reading my book. Hey, Larry. Mr. Wiggins, welcome. The entertainment on Allure is fantastic. So they've got Mamma Mia in their main theater right now, and it is wonderful. The cast of Mamma Mia for Allure is fantastic these days, you all. It is extremely, extremely good. I actually did take some B-roll of it until they yelled at me and told me I wasn't supposed to do it. They always make this announcement, hey, don't take pictures while the show's going on. I was in the very back of the balcony, out of everybody's way, not distracting anything, and I got called out. So I got enough though, enough that I can show you all what's happening there. I saw a lot of pictures on Facebook, Larry. I don't think that I would do this, but there were a lot of people that took Halloween very seriously this year, that dressed up. It was a Halloween cruise. And I'm kind of surprised because that was, to your point, a Monday through Friday sailing, which are very much more tame than a weekend sailing would be. Normally, if Halloween falls on a Saturday or Sunday, like the cruise ship goes all out. But it looked like it went all out even for a Thursday this year. Florida cruisers, no worries. I try to do these for a while. We kicked off at 7:30. That's the time that seems to be working good for me these days. 7:30 or 8 normally. With the time change though, I was like, oh, 8 o'clock. I was like, that means I won't get to bed until later. And I am not a time change person. It'll take me a solid week or two to be able to stay up past. I think I made it to like 9:45 last night. 10:30 is what we're going for. And woke up at 6 a.m. this morning. So I'm hopeful that, waking up at 6 a.m. means I will be exhausted enough that I can stay awake. You guys are going to help me stay awake for a little bit, and then we'll take it from there. But this time seems to work pretty good for me. And hopefully it does for a lot of you too. And I do it for a while. I'll come on here and talk for an hour or two. If questions keep coming and you all are engaging me, I'll hang out as long as we can, and give more people a chance to hang out. Yeah, I agree with that. The coconut shrimp, I had it when I was there this past time. Because when I made the initial video, Rosefari, that I said Hideaway Beach is absolutely not worth the money, everybody was like, oh, but you didn't have the coconut shrimp. And I was like, is this really what we're judging coconut or Hideaway Beach on? Is they have coconut shrimp, so let's pay $50 extra. Like, I'm good. Like, I will go to Long John Silver's and get my own popcorn shrimp if I want it. Like, it's fine. Oh, Jen, Bimini is a tough one, honestly. They do have some snorkeling there, and the water around Bimini, I think, is nice water. The Bahamas is not known for its snorkeling, but it is certainly something you can do in Bimini. The other fun thing a lot of people do is they rent a golf cart. So instead of going over to the Resorts World, it's the Virgin Voyages resort area that they use, which is nice. But I think I checked it for one of my cruises coming up, and it was like over $100, which I kind of turned my nose up to as well. The other option is to rent a golf cart, drive around the island, check out some of the scene, or just take the trolley to where the resort is, the casino, and they've got beaches there. You can rent an umbrella. That's getting more and more popular, I feel like. Just doing something super easy there, Jen. But don't overthink Bimini. There's not many options. What's going to be my longest cruise next year? It's going to be the MSC World America, the group cruise, the non-group group cruise. Just show up. That's all you got to do. It's going to be on May 3rd is when that's going to be. As we get closer and more people are solidified on it, I'll probably send out a note. So make sure that you do sign up for the group cruise newsletter. That's how I'll do this, and say, hey, we're all getting ready to board. Let's, if you want to chip in $30, $40, whatever have you, we'll buy t-shirts and get some, cute little group-like stuff to make us be a true group. So that's my longest one. So if you've ever want to do a long cruise with me, MSC World America is going to be the place to do that. Otherwise, I think, is there another? They are all 3 nights except for one 4-night on Voyager. Out of the 18 that I have booked, only one of them is longer than 4 nights, and only one of them is 4 nights. So no, I do a lot of land trips these days. That's really where my vacation time goes. So if I am not on a cruise ship on a weekend, I'm traditionally traveling overseas somewhere and trying to see the world. It's a big world. And cruise ships just can't get everywhere. And so I'm trying to adventure. My passport right now is actually in renewal. I filled it up. It's a 10-year passport, right? I filled mine up in 6 years, and I had to send it off to get a new one. I had not enough to go on my next trip. So that's my other pastime. I keep thinking maybe one day I'll make a video or make a separate channel to kind of talk about my land adventures, which is only like 4 or 5 a year. It's not a lot. but I don't necessarily want to post that content on the weekend cruiser because it's not cruise related. Though hopefully a lot of you have come to like me, like my style, and may enjoy that. That's kind of why I've thought about doing that, but more to come. That's also more work, and I enjoy those. So I don't always like thinking about, being on my land vacations and still thinking about YouTube sometimes because sometimes it feels like it's a joy to do it. I enjoy making it and scripting, and I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. People would love to hear about that. And other times I'm like, stop scripting a video in your sleep, Brandon. Like, you don't need to do this. It's just funny how it changes. All right, Kayan, let's see what you got here. Hideaway Beach is really for adults that want the adults only club party. That is key there. Atmosphere, and cannot stand kids. Otherwise, for me, South Beach works fine, or Central Lagoon. So this was where a lot of discussion happened before Hideaway ever opened. On a lot of people thought adults only meant that it was going to be calm and relaxing and a place to escape the craziness and the kids. And that could not be the farthest thing from the truth. So I called that out early on. I was like, guys, I'm reading this marketing that Royals got here. They're moving the DJ over there. They talk about the party crowd. They talk about a club vibe. They want us to go over there and party. They want you to drink. They want you to buy an alcohol package. All that great stuff. It is not a relaxing experience. It is, I say that. If you go all the way to the very end, you might be able to figure out a relaxing experience. But for the most part, people go there because they want to party and enjoy. So if you go there because you want to relax, and this was one of the cons I had to the Hideout Cabana, which is not cheap, by the way. But I was very fortunate to have some friends of mine who got it, kindly invited me to come over and enjoy. There were some bachelor parties or 40th birthday parties about 3 cabanas down from us that were living their best life. They were having a wonderful time, and they were doing shots by 11 o'clock. So we were not surprised when, they kind of ventured over. They actually left the cabana that they paid so much money for and went over to the pool to be part of the crowd there. But if they would have stuck around and, honestly continued to drink at the rate that they did, it changes the atmosphere there, right? And so if you're going to Hideaway, you just need to know what you're getting yourself into. It's not, when you think of adults only, it's not the relaxing, 80-year-olds hanging out reading books like me. It is 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s and 60s who are there to enjoy their best life and to dance with the DJ. You went to the free beach in Bimini on the Silhouette last year. I would say the free beach was not worth the money. That might be some advice there is, Roseburg thinks you should just stay on the ship, Jen. Just don't get off the ship. You'll be fine. Enjoy a quieter pool. That might not be a bad thing either. Hey, John. Oh, Western Mass. What part? I don't know if you remember this, but I lived in Boston for 11 years. So I'll drop an I every now and again. I don't know Western that much. I knew more North Shore, South Shore areas, and all the way over to like Worcester and places like that. Still miss Boston. I mean, I've been gone since 2017 now, and always have such great memories when I think of my time there and all the amazing friends that I have there. So I like it a lot. But you're going on Odyssey next week, first time on an Anthem class. Anything you love about that class of ship? So interestingly, John, this is one, I've only been on Anthem of the Seas once for a 4-night cruise. Quantum class ships were designed for longer sailings in cold environments. And so they just haven't been doing a lot of weekends, and they haven't rotated them down here to do that, which is one reason why I'm so excited about the group cruise that's on November 14th, that's on Quantum of the Seas, to give me a second Quantum class ship to check out, see how it is. It's a weekend, so I can pull that one. But honestly, I don't have much. It's a different layout. I'm trying to remember my time there, but Quantum's not my strong suit. So I would say walk around, do the shows in the 270 lounge that's there. Those are always pretty cool. They're a very immersive experience. So make sure you get reservations for those, or go early and stand in the standby line. Boom, I came up with one. Took me a second, but that was my highlight, as I really enjoyed that show. It's very different than any other show on a Royal Caribbean ship, and that I really appreciated and liked. But let me know how it goes. Send me a note or a comment on what you think or how it was. Hey, let's see here. Flavano? I don't know how to say that necessarily. Sorry. First time cruisers. Oh, that's awesome. And an autistic teen going on MSC Seashore in December. Hope everyone goes smoothly. When are you there in December? If you are, oh, I'm there in November. Ah, I thought that we might be on the same one. I got my sailings confused. Um, Hope everyone goes smoothly. My son is totally looking forward to it. I'm super glad he's looking forward to it. If he's watching with you, hey there. Welcome to the Weekend Cruiser. So have a great time. That's what I'll say. MSC Seashore is a wonderful ship. It took me a little bit to get the lay of the land, if you will. Look at a map. There is a full ship tour video on the Seashore that I've done, walking you through my pro tips, where the different areas are. But I really appreciate the layout there and hope that you and your family have an amazing time on Seashore. Eat up the food, do some of the special restaurants. Their shows are also really, really good. I don't know how your son is with noises and sensory kind of things, but if you need to, always sit towards the back. So if you need to get up and leave, that's something you can absolutely do. And then, kind of gauge it for the next show. If it went well, maybe you want to go towards the middle or towards the front, where I like to sit. So you got some options there, but really hope you all enjoy. Am I on the Voyager 130? I am not there then. I'm actually not booked on a ship on 130. So you never know where I might show up, but I am there February 13th. I'm there for President's Day weekend. Who's the suite concierge? Out of curiosity, Cindy. I'm always curious if it's one that I've run into in the past. There's some wonderful people. I think that's the group. When you have a home ship or you stay with the same cruise line, you get to see these same people. Concierges are one of those, along with as well as the loyalty ambassadors, that you really get to build a strong relationship with. You get to know them by name, their stories. And it's one of the best experiences of cruising is getting to learn people like that, getting to know them. And now that I bounce around a lot, it doesn't happen as often, and I kind of miss it. I miss showing up on a ship and everybody going, "Oh, hey, Brandon, welcome back." I get that every now and again, but it's not like it used to be when I stayed on Freedom for, I don't know, 30 straight weekends. Very different. Yeah, check it out. The kids still stay towards, I'll call it the kids section where it's sloped at the Oasis Lagoon. But the bar, it's lacking energy at this point. Maybe if you get 2 Oasis class ships there, and the Hideaway doesn't do too well, and more people, you can do it. I think that the thing that would make it is if you go in a group of people, you bring your own party. Wherever a large group is, if you've got 10, 20 people, you can make the atmosphere at the Oasis Lagoon, and people are going to be drawn towards your energy. So if that is something that you want, find a group and start having a good time with people. Oh, you're in Worcester. Looking forward to your second cruise with MSC later this month on the Davina. I do like the Davina. She has a more classic look to her. It's not my favorite look, especially compared to her newer sister, the C-Class, but she's a solid ship. I've done her many, many times, and I've got her booked for next year as well, too. It's going to be very different than the Seashore, so go ahead and adjust the expectations, but she's much bigger than the Magnifica. I think the Magnifica is the smallest MSC ship that I've been on, but you're gonna like the Davina. I had a good time there. But with that, I don't see any comments, so I'm gonna talk about something else. But if you want to load up some comments or questions, feel free to do that. The thing that I was going to talk about, and this is front running the information a little bit here, is MSC's Voyager program. So many of you have been following, probably on Facebook, the changes that are happening there. So they're introducing a new top tier. I don't know if it's going to be their pinnacle, if you will, or their zenith, whatever. But it's looking like it's going to be called Blue Diamond. So I'm hopeful that the announcement's going to come out on that tomorrow, and I can get a video to you all pretty soon if they do make the changes, that I get the press release for it. I think I'm on MSC's press release email distribution at this point, maybe, to talk about what the changes are. So in what I've seen online, it looks like it's going to enhance a lot of the benefits. The benefit list now looks very similar to Royal Caribbean's and Celebrity's benefit list of what you get in the different tiers, with the little with the tiers at the top and then the dots going down in different columns. And they are giving out more free stuff. MSC is, in my opinion, enhancing their program. Number one, by giving a different tier that's going to come with free internet. So Blue Diamond is what they're calling it. Rumor has it that it's going to be around 25,000 points in their system, which their points is $1 spent gets you a point. So that's your cruise fare in addition to the spend that you do on board. So if you buy an excursion through them, you buy something at the shops, you go into the casino, all that traditionally has counted. I haven't seen that they're changing the tiers or the points for the other tiers that are there. So if they're keeping them all the same or not. I was fortunate and able to match into Diamond because I am Pinnacle, which already has some good benefits to it. That was their highest at the time. If they do come out with this new one, and it's looking like they will, it will now be their new highest one, where they will not match you into it. So I'm going to have to earn that one. Good news, I don't think I'm as far away as I think that I have been. So unfortunately, this is where I share too much information. There were 2 cruises on MSC where I gambled back when I was doing that, and they count that towards their program. So cheers, that was more money, more points than I wanted to get. And I've done a lot of their sailings. My interiors that I'm doing for $400 are giving me $200. I imagine it's less port fees and taxes is probably what they're doing. So every time I go, I get 200 points. So even doing that to get to 25,000 won't be that terribly much. We've got the MSC World America coming out, which will be another like 1,300 points. So it's still not, I don't think, going to feel like a super high tier. When you think of Pinnacle and you think of Zenith, Royal, and Celebrity, you think of, gosh, how am I ever going to make it there? That was my thought. I was like, there is no way that I'm going to make Pinnacle. Here I am, like sitting at 1,600 some points now. But I never thought that I was going to do it. I don't think that I ever set out to do it. It just kind of happened. On Celebrities program, I can promise you I will never hit, I shouldn't say I will promise I'll never hit Zenith. They have given me, the reciprocal agreement now says that I get Zenith on Celebrity, so it really doesn't matter as much anymore. But me achieving it based on my points with the Celebrity program is going to be really hard pressed the way that they figure it out. And so Zenith there, I think, is just something, the points wise, I'll never achieve. I don't think that's in the cards. When I think to Blue Diamond, that's coming out with MSC, if it plays out the way that they're saying it's going to play out, they being Facebook groups, people that don't know anything, it will not feel like it's that high of a tier. It's going to probably feel more like a Diamond Plus if I had to, in the Royal Caribbean terminology, or Elite Plus. That's what I think it's going to feel like. It will give an internet device, which I'm super excited for. Diamond already gets you one specialty restaurant, which is probably my favorite perk of all perks that anybody gives me, is they give me a specialty restaurant. And they've got some really cool specialty restaurants that I enjoy. So those are my quick thoughts. If that comes out tomorrow, I will certainly be making a video trying to do breaking news and talk to you about the changes, what I think about them. And hopefully they'll be all for the good. What I've seen so far, it looks like it's only enhancing the program. So I'm super excited by that. Which cruise lines do you think has the best pool deck environment? Looking for medium energy, not a party at all times, but music, bars, kids, okay, can still sunbathe. I would say Celebrity. Celebrity is winning a lot of my competitions right now. Virgin Voyages will win nothing in my book related to their pool. Their pool is super small, super loud, super noisy, super party. That is just not what I'm going to sign up for. You've got more people standing in the pool dancing because it's got one of those places that's like half a foot deep. That goes for a good piece of it. That people just turn it into a day club. Not something that I want. It's not relaxing. Royal Caribbean, if you do one of the older ships, one of the smaller ships, you probably can find the atmosphere that you're going for, where it'll still be fun. There'll be less kids, but there will be some there. If you're going over to an Oasis class kind of ship, it's going to have a ton of kids, unless you're getting in the suite lounge and you can go and hang out in the suite section. That may section you off a little bit from that. But Celebrity is going to have the fewest kids and still has a decent vibe at the pool. It's more of a relaxing vibe, but there is still good energy. It's not a sleepy crowd by any stretch. If you want sleepy, go Celebrity and do the Solarium. That's your sleepy crowd. That's where literally half the people are asleep when you walk through it. It's actually quite funny. But the rest of the pool, the outdoor pool, is actually a really good time still. and it reminds me of a joke when COVID was over and we had a comedian come on board who was joking about people sleeping in the solarium or out in public. He was like, hey, post-COVID, you can't be doing that. We don't know if you're alive, if you're dead. What's going on over there? We don't know. Which I just thought was hilarious. Because I was like, there's definitely been times when I've walked by people, whether it's in the pool or is in a common space, and I'm like, looking to see, I was like, is their stomach or chest going up and down? Like, is there activity happening there? Because it happens on cruise ships. That'll be one of my next videos coming out. Is I made a 2-part series talking about, number one, I just finished 150 cruises. I think I'm already up to 153 since then, but I've cruised a lot. And so I wanted to reflect on the cruises and share with you all some of the really fun memories that I have from going on cruises, the amazing memories, I'm calling them, things that I go, oh, that was such a great cruise. And I still remember them to this day. And so I'm going to talk a lot about those. And then I'm going to talk through, some of the more traumatic ones. So anytime you have amazing memories, you're going to have some that just aren't great memories. And there's some cruises, not where the cruise itself was bad, but it's traditionally things that had happened, whether it was to me, to somebody else, that caused it to be kind of traumatic. Things that stick in my memory and I just go, oh, that's not a good memory. Why do I remember that one? Like, can't I just remember the good things? But that's not how the human mind and brain works. And so I wanted to, full transparency. I can talk to you about, oh my God, cruising is great. This is how great it is. But I also wanted to share with you some of the not so great moments that I've had on cruise ship. Luckily, I say they're few and far between. I could do a part 2 of it. So if you guys watch that video and you say, Brandon, like, we want to hear more stories like these, a story time with Brandon, if you will, I can do that. Like, there's plenty of stories I can share. More bad though. I can think of more things that have gone wrong than if I think back to some of the really cool memories. Though some of the really cool memories, I'm not sure that I can share all of them either. Like, that's the thing with those, is some of my really fun memories. That was back in my drinking days. I'm sure that I just don't want to share those stories probably. But anyway, I digress. So looks like we've been going a little over an hour. My voice is starting to get shot. I'll do last call for questions, see if anybody has anything, and then we might call it a night here. Would I suggest booking the MSC transfer service airport to ship, or have you any suggestions when arriving to MCO? Funny, I was just researching this weekend. So I made this exact journey this past weekend because I was on Utopia out of Canaveral, and there is no transit option from Miami to Port Canaveral. So I've got to go to Orlando first. And from Orlando, I got to get over to the cruise port. So it's you, your husband, and your teenage son. So you're going to have a couple of suitcases. That's the first thing. Anytime you're looking at transportation, you want to consider. So I always say, start with rideshare. See what the cost is going to be there. So if you're going from MCO over to directly to the ship, you're going to be looking at around, depending on the time of day, $45 to $60 probably. It could be as much as $80 for an Uber X or a Lyft X. That is your base package. If you've got a good amount of suitcases that is not going to fit in a Toyota Corolla and you're 3 people, you're going to want to get a XL. So that'll be a van, Suburban, something like that. And that's going to cost you even more. There are a few cruise shuttle companies that do exist that pick up at certain times. I don't gravitate towards these all the time for going to the cruise ship because I get off the plane, I want to go right to the ship. I don't want to have to try to figure out where the shuttle is. Am I on time? Did I miss it? It's just, I like the flexibility of the rideshare, but that comes at a cost, right? So if you're doing a shuttle, you're going to be about $25 to $26. I used on the way back, I do use it because I get off the ship and I'm not in a hurry normally. So I used Airport Canaveral is who I used to take me from the cruise port back to MCO. And that was $26, I think it was. There's other ones out there. I'm trying to remember. Some friends of mine swear by Contreras, I think is what it's called. They have, that seems to be amongst my royal family, that is, where we all cruise way too much. They use Contreras. Check the spelling on that, but Contreras Shuttle and they swear by it. That's the go-to for the other people in my group that I know of. So check those out. But also, you can go on Uber.com and do a fare estimate for how much it will cost to go from MCO to the terminal, the cruise terminal. See if that makes sense in a van for you and your family, or if this $25 per person, $75 for 3 people, if the trade-off makes a difference. So if you can get a van for 120 and it's 75, then you just have to weigh, okay, maybe I have to wait for the full hour before I can get on the shuttle. Is that worth the money to do that? Or do you just want the door-to-door experience that you can get with Uber, or the on-demand experience you can get with a rideshare company? Hope that helped there. All right, everyone. So I think we are good to go. That is all the questions. And with the time change, my body already thinks that it's going on 10 o'clock. Ugh. Hopefully, I will be getting back on track. Hopefully, I'll get some videos out this week. I'm super excited to see what the new video editor is going to be doing. Let me know what you think of those videos. I certainly want to keep improving and making those the best that we can. But I look forward to chatting with you all again soon. So I'll probably have to skip next week once again. But more to come. All right, everybody. This is Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser. Hoping to see you on a weekend cruise soon.